Welcome back. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton's campaign in a tug of war over the fallout from the FBI's release of notes from their investigation of Clinton's email practices. Republicans and the Trump campaign ramping up their attacks over the FBI probe and its recommendation not to prosecute. Brian Yennis has more of the reaction to the public release of the notes live in our New York City newsroom. Brian?
Hi, Kelly. Well, the FBI notes on the investigation to Hillary Clinton and her private email server contain striking revelations, mainly that Clinton told investigators nearly 36 times that she could not recall key details about her emails. She could not remember when she got a security clearance, received training on handling classified information, nor when she obtained specialized training for managing the U.S. government's most closely held secrets, known as special access programs. But the same week Clinton became Secretary of State, she signed 2 non-disclosure agreements where she said she knew the rules and that violating these agreements could result in criminal charges. Critics are not buying Clinton's apparent gaps in memory, and the new notes have renewed criticism among conservatives.
The FBI comes off looking pretty badly in this report, too. That's why it was released on a Friday. It protects Mrs. Clinton, bearing it on a Friday before a holiday, and protects the FBI, who come across looking like the Keystone Cops, or who come across as showing a politicized investigation that Mrs. Clinton was brought in.
Donald Trump releasing a statement saying, quote, Hillary Clinton's answers to the FBI about her private email server defy belief. After reading these documents, I really don't understand how she was able to get away from prosecution. The Clinton campaign putting a positive spin, saying, quote, we are pleased that the FBI has released the materials from Hillary Clinton's interview as we had requested. While her use of a single email account was clearly a mistake and she has taken responsibility for it, these materials make clear why the Justice Department believed there was no basis to move forward with this case. Clinton hits the campaign trail again on Monday. Kelly?
All right, Brian Yennis reporting. Thank you.
So the Labor Day weekend data dump raising questions about how the information will affect the Clinton campaign just 2 months before the election. Let's bring in Basil Smikle, a Democratic strategist and a former senior aide, and to then Senator Hillary Clinton, and Sean Noble, the president of American Encore and a GOP strategist. Basil, let me start with you. There is a lot to drill down on here. Let's start with one of the facts we just heard, this idea that she did at one time sign a document swearing that she understood the rules. She now says that she doesn't remember that, she doesn't understand the rules. So either she was lying in one of those 2 statements, or when she fell and hit her head, she sustained an awful lot of brain damage. What do you think really happened here?
Well, I think there's a third option, and that third option is that she's actually telling the truth. I mean, that she did sign the agreement, and the agreement signed, she knew exactly what she was signing, but years after that, and certainly, and in the course of this interview, there were some details that she did not remember. I think both of those things can actually be true. And again, we've, with respect to these emails and the FBI releases, she has said, release everything. If you're going to be selective about it, let's not do that. Let's actually release everything. So I don't think that she's
evading any question. What's interesting about that, though, is while she's saying release everything, she's also very actively using BleachBit and everything else. And they had, in some of the details, some of her IT professionals, had yikes moments where they realized they hadn't deleted everything they were told to delete, even though she said that she didn't tell people to delete things, and she evidently did. Sean, she also says that she didn't know what the C marking was on top, and that's how she reconciles this idea that she never knowingly sent anything that was marked classified, but there it is with the C, and she said she just didn't know what the C meant. Almost all of us who've been reading anything about this know what this C meant. I mean, is that believable?
No, it's not believable. It defies all belief completely. I mean, this is a woman who's very accomplished of her own right. She's been the First Lady of the United States. She's been a United States Senator sitting on the Armed Services Committee. She was the Secretary of State. For her to say that she didn't know what the C meant is just not, it's laughable. And it goes to the point of she's either lying or she's incompetent. And either way, I think the American people are going to take a long, hard look at this. This is not going away for her. And that's why the Democrats are really starting to get nervous. I mean, think about it. She might lose to this guy because she can't get her act together.
Well,
Basil, hang on. I mean, so let me talk about some of the other details in case people haven't heard them. You know, she said again and again she just had one device for the sake of convenience. Here it turns out she had 13 devices and 5
Well, 13
iPads.
BlackBerries and and a bunch of iPads. So she had almost 20 devices. I mean, that is like an offense to the American people when she thought that she could actually pull that over on the American people's, pull it over on the American people
Basil,
when she knew it was completely untrue.
How does she reconcile that? Because that's, I mean, you know, that's almost 20 devices versus the one.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I don't know. I mean, I think that my guess is that, and I don't think she was lying. I still don't think there's anything untoward here. Quite frankly, if she says, number one, I want to use one device out of convenience, and her staff comes and gives her multiple devices, I believe that she actually relied a lot on her staff to make some of these decisions.
She couldn't tell that she was using different devices. She couldn't tell the difference between an iPad and a BlackBerry.
I'm actually making a point a little bit more about the timeline than the actual number of devices, which is that in a question she had said, why go to the server in this way, and her response was, because I wanted to simplify things and use one device. Over the course of the time that she's there, if she got multiple devices after that, I don't really see how that changes sort of the underlying issue here, which is that, look, these emails are going to come up. They're going to continue to come up until the end of this campaign. I have no doubt about that. But there is no smoking gun. There is nothing that says.
Oh, no. There's plenty in there that shows the cross-contamination between the foundation and the State Department and how they felt fine asking for favors within the State Department for people who had given great donations. It was returned many times. But we're talking about the subject here of these specific emails. And Sean, let me ask you, one of the things where they try and explain where so many of these missing emails went. One of their explanations was, we downloaded it all to a laptop to hand over to you, and we put it in the mail. You mean you didn't get it?
Lost in the
we
mail.
took this laptop and we put it in an envelope and we gave it to the postman. I can't believe it never made it to you. What idiot would mail a computer to anyone for any reason, much less one that was evidence in a major investigation like this? I mean, are they really, really stupid or lying? Which do you think it is?
They're clearly trying to cover things up. I mean, what's fascinating to me is that, I saw the statement the Clinton campaign was happy that they released all these emails. What they're happy about is this report was released on the Friday before Labor Day weekend. That's what they're happy about.
Well, can I interject here something? Because I think we're using language like lying and stupid, and look, the director of the FBI had some very strong language for her, but what's also evident is that unanimously all of them said no indictment should be brought. There was no criminal activity. So I want to get away from this.
No. It's definitely criminal activity.
How could it not be stupid to mail a laptop?
I'm not going to go ahead and call her stupid, or I'm not going to call her staff members stupid.
There was criminal activity.
I'm not going to go there, because these are not people who are stupid. These are people who actually
they're not.
They're a public servant.
So that makes me think that they're not telling the truth. Gentlemen, we got to go. We're out of time. Thanks to both of you. We appreciate it. Kelly.